Hello and welcome. In this multi-view exercise with Autodesk Fusion, we're going to be making a retainer. So this is the image over here to the right. So right off the bat, we can kind of nail down some of the geometry that we're going to be using and the different features. So there's a couple ways you could go with this part. And you could you could extrude a couple different cylinders and then make your cuts with the slot and then the hole and then add in your chamfers. But how we're going to do it is we're actually going to create a side profile and then revolve that side profile. So I like to use the revolve feature with things like this because it's less steps. So basically you're just creating the one half of it and then you're just revolving it symmetrically to create the part. So this is the created part that you'll have at the end, and I assigned some stainless steel to it to get the properties, to get the weight, the mass of the part. Alright, so to start, I'm just going to exit out of this one. So to start, save your part, and I have the location of multi-view part projects. So whatever your location is, save it in there. And I'm just going to say retainer. And this is my second time doing it. Save it. Alright. So from here I got to make sure that I'm in the right units, and these are inches. So yes, I am in the imperial system, and I am going to start with a sketch. So and I like to kind of mimic what's going on here, right? So the placement of my my part is going to be kind of like this. So this is the front. This would be like the left side and this would be the right side. So go to front and click on the plane, and now I'm going to start with the line tool and start right here in the origin, move up from there, and just again, I'm not really paying attention to the dimensions at this point. I'm just going along, and I do want to snap along this line, so I'm just going to go over to the origin here and bring it over, and then connect it. Alright, so right now we have these two lines that are fully defined, so signified by the black. Now I'm going to just start putting in some dimensions. So the overall length is 4.625. This length here is 4. So when I'm doing a side profile, I have to keep in mind that I need the radius dimensions rather than the diameters. So I'm going to put in the 2.375 and then divide that by 2. So that's a nice quick trick that you can use. And then this one, actually I don't need this one because I already have the full dimension and I have the 4 of the sides. So this would be over defining my part. So if I were to try to do this, it's going to come in with a warning and say you're going to make this a driven dimension. So we don't want that. That was just probably a warning error sketch. Okay, so now from here I want to go and create this dimension. And this dimension is going to be 1, right? Because that's going to be the radius, because we're doing half of it. So that's one. So that's everything we need, right? It's all black, so meaning it's fully defined. And now I need to go into solid, and I'm going to choose the Revolve. And the profile is already selected because we went right into it. So the axis is going to be this axis right here. And all of this is good, 360 degrees one way, and it needs to be a new body because we're creating, this is going to be the new, this is going to be our part. So now that we have our part, we can go ahead and start with the hole. So we need to cut a hole through the middle here. So I'm going to click on create a sketch, click on the top part here, C for circle, go into the middle here, bring this out, and that is 1.5 in diameter. And I am going to extrude this, and it's going to be a cut, so the operation is going to be cut, and I'm going to go, the distance is going to be through all, and then the profile is that circle there, flip the orientation, okay, now we got the hole going through our cylinder. Alright, so from here we can either do the chamfers or we can do the slot. So I'm going to do the chamfers first. So there are 5 of these. So at first I got a little bit confused. I was like, okay, I'm only seeing 3 right now. But don't forget this other side here, right? Even though it doesn't show it, we're going to make the assumption that they also want these chamfered on either side. So chamfer is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Because it doesn't look like there's a chamfer around the slot, so I'm making the assumption that these are also chamfered. So to create a chamfer, you go over to modify and click chamfer. The type of chamfer that we're going to use is a distance and an angle, right? So distance and angle, and then we're going to start selecting the edges. So this edge, this edge, this edge, and these two. So from there we can specify the distance, and that is 0.03, and then the angle is 45 degrees. So that will take care of all of our edges. Click OK, and we have all our edges chamfered. So now go to the front again, and now we're going to put in this slot. So we're going to create a sketch, and the sketch is going to be in the front plane again. So you can't draw on a curved surface, right? You can't create a sketch on a curved surface, so we have to either create a plane or use an existing plane. So I'm just going to use this plane, the front plane, and F16 to zoom me in here. All right, so I'm going to use, I have the plane open on the front, and I'm going to actually create a slot. And there's several different types of slots. So I'm going to use the one that I have the dimensions for. So center to center, I could use that one. Center point slot, I could use that one. Overall, I could use that, but I like the center to center, right? Because that's going to be this point, and then the radius. So then I'm going to go ahead and dimension those. All right, so center to center, I'm going to hover gonna hover around the origin because I want this to be in the center of my part, right? So go over to the origin, bring it over here, and then I'm gonna click my first center and click my second and click the overall. So from here, I just need to punch in the dimensions. So I have 0.7, and then the center to center is 2.125, and the radius is 0.5. So D for dimension, and put in the radius of 0.5. The center to center is 2.125, and the distance from the center to the edge. So make sure that you're hitting this edge in here, because that's what it's indicating. And that's going to be 0.7. So if it moved on you, so it looks like it kind of moved, you're going to have to add a coincident constraint. So right now this is not fully defined, right? So I need to add that coincide, and I'm going to have my midpoint coincide with the origin. So now it's coincident of the origin. So now it's good. It's set up, right? It's fully defined. It's all black. There's no blue. There's no blue in there. So now I can make an extrude cut. So as it looks like that there is only one cutout on the other side. There, it looks like there is not a slot cutout. So I'm going to go over to create. Oh, excuse me. I'm going to go over to solid. I'm going to click on extrude, and I need to select this part here, and the distance is going to be through all, and I'm going to have it coming out in the front, right? Because I'm just making it the same as I'm seeing it, right? I could I do it the other way? Yes, but if I were to make a drawing, then the hole is going to be on the back side of the part, and the drawing won't be that. It won't be like what we're viewing here. So what I'm trying to do is make the same thing. And from here, looks good. So I'm going to click OK. And there you have it. You have your retainer with the slot and the chamfers, and we are good to go. So now I'm going to assign some stainless steel to it. So if I go down to the body, right click here, physical material, come on down to stainless steel, and the generic one is fine. I'm just going to click and drag this out to my body, close this up. It changed color, so I know that it is stainless steel now. And now I'm just going to grab the properties of it. So right click again, get the properties, and I can see that the mass is 29.483 ounces. So wondering why they don't give that in pounds, but I probably can change that. I can change that somewhere, I'm sure. But that should be the mass of your part. And yeah, so once you have that, you've created your retainer. So I hope you get to this point. Feel free to keep playing back the video. And yeah, good luck.